All right, and we're recording. I'm going to pop over here to YouTube and make sure that we're connected, which we are. We do have the live up and going. So I'll just keep an eye on this. All right.
All right, I think she's having issues with the live,
Okay.
or yeah, because I think her live just crashed, and I wasn't getting any audio from her when I went into the room, so I
Okay.
don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, and I don't see her on here either as live.
No,
So.
she went. I think she went back offline.
Okay. Well, we're cool to
Looking
just
like
hang in here and let people join in too. So.
yeah. She'll be back in a minute, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let me resend her. Oh, there she is.
There you go.
All right, accepted. All right. Okay. I am YouTube over here. No viewers yet.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I have a few visual aids to share when we start talking about fan art stuff.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking with somebody not too long ago about a bunch of my old stuff. My old, like, I used to do fan art T-shirt stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of mashup stuff,
Okay.
and yeah, yeah. I think it's a fun. I think it's an interesting topic. It's prescient, as they
Yes.
say.
Yes.
So always worth it.
All right. Well, we're live, Gabriella, and it's
Hey
on
guys, can you
YouTube.
guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. We're live. We did it. Fantastic.
Oh, and we've got a viewer too.
Nice.
Fantastic. Yay. All right, so let's get going. So this is the Odd Frog Entertainment Chop Shop podcast, which usually Kelly says, and I probably already missed it. And now it has a Spicy Killa Kawaii crew. We're trying to make this into a news show that we're going to be really consistent with and have a lot of different type of art, culture, and toys involved with it. And now we have a fantastic artist with us today, which is Manny the cartoon artist. He's a really dear friend of mine, but he's also just a wonderful artist, all different types of things. He's made hats, he's made pins, he makes his own illustrations, so he makes all true pure art of himself. But he also used to make fan art that did really, really well. And we're going to have a talk about fan art in general because right now, Kelly is working on the Sponuary contest. So we are having a little bit of a fan art month this month anyway. So it's a great conversation. I know a lot of people are participating in the Sponuary, so I'm sure a lot of people want to talk about like what is fan art? Is fan art worth getting into? Is fan art worth even drawing? What do you guys think about it? So let's start with Manny.
Um, if you've got a style that stands out beyond the fan art of it all, then 1,000% it's worth it.
Oh, you think
I,
so? You think fan art's worth it if you can make it true and original?
if you can stand out apart from the thing, if you're drawing Ninja Turtles that look just like the thing that everybody knows, there isn't as much of a sort of a benefit to you. But if you're doing something in your sort of unique style, if everything that you do has this sort of uniqueness to it, and you can draw anything and have it look like you, then the chances of you turning, just to sit for the sake of consistency, turning a Ninja Turtles fan into your fan
Yeah,
is the goal, right? So
absolutely. With
then it's a lot more worth it.
And Ninja Turtles is a great topic to bring up because Ninja Turtles is used so much in designer toys and in illustration, right?
Hmm.
So it's like it's a great one to bring.
Yeah,
And
we've all done our turtle stuff. So yeah.
and Kelly absolutely loves the Ninja Turtles. In fact, he was a little weak today when he was at Best Buy looking at some turtle
Yeah.
toys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it the He-Man cross promotion?
No, although I thought those were kind of cool actually because I did work at Mattel and I fought every day I was there to work on anything He-Man. So I didn't get to
Nice.
work on that, but that was cool. I was there when they did the WWE He-Man stuff, which was pretty
Oh,
cool.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Um,
make damn good sense though. Like
yeah, it was perfect because the anatomy and stuff. So yeah.
yeah.
But no, they had the Last Ronin stuff there.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is beautiful.
Yeah, and I really liked the story, and I like when Eastman and Laird work together, obviously. So yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, you were working on your Sponuary stuff.
Yeah,
How's that going?
better than I thought, actually. In my own mind, I'm really happy with it. It's
Nice.
I know, like I've followed Todd McFarlane since I was probably 13 years old, and like the first comic book I ever owned was Torment #5 Spider-Man comic book. So I love McFarlane, and it's just kind of something I had to do since he's my hero, and I kind of work in the industry slightly. So it just
Adjacent.
adjacent, exactly. So it
Yeah.
just seemed like the perfect thing to do. Yeah, and I met him once and got his autograph on Spawn #1. So yeah.
Have you thought about like going full tilt into what you really do, and instead of drawing a cover, do like a killer photo with like a Spawn car that you customize?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
interesting.
very interesting. Like do up the Bandito like Spawn style. That's a really rad idea, actually.
And that's the whole purpose of the Bandito too, is to be able to customize it like that. That's kind of why they
Yeah.
kept it there. They really wanted the collector to have. It was supposed to be for an artist / collector. So an artist who would want to collect it, an artist who would want to sell it, or a
Yeah.
collector who likes to build and paint as well. That it enjoys the full experience with that. But I think a Spawn car would be just in general would just be so cool, especially as a toy. Like that would be really really cool. The drawing that Kelly has made for Spawn is, I mean, not to be biased, but it's definitely nothing I've ever seen before. I've been looking at all the Spawnuaries, and the reason why is because Kelly really put the emphasis on the Tom McFarlane detail oriented, but he didn't do it with like a typical thing. He did it with like frogs, which is just so awesome. Like he did
Nice.
it with frogs, and like it's just so cool. And this is kind of going back to what we're talking about with fan art, right? Like I think how Kelly took the Spawn creation was he still was able to input his brand and still have a theme that really does represent Spawn. So Kelly kind of talked about like why you picked the frogs and like everything with it. I know we're not showing the drawing, guys. Kelly's an artist; he's not going to show it, so don't even ask. Like you got to wait till it's almost done. It's really close.
Yeah. Well, so McFarlane. I always said McFarlane, but like Mikey makes fun of me when I do that. So, and Eddie, but he was a graphic designer, is what he went to school for and stuff. So he's always had these kind of real graphical kind of compositions and stuff where the negative space is always balanced really well and stuff like that. And then you go into Greg Capullo, who I just completely fell in love with later on in the Spawn comic books, and he kind of, took that same idea, into the rafters, like so
Yeah.
much detail, better anatomy, frankly. But so yeah, I kind of wanted to just have it have graphic design be kind of what led the thing, where we have kind of the foreground, middle ground, and background, and then
Nice.
for the theme is yeah, it's like Spawn is this kind of, you know, heaven versus hell kind of thing. So I thought it'd be cool to have like an Old Testament plague kind of thing going on, where there's
Yeah.
snakes and frogs and it's raining blood, and so yeah, that was the idea behind it, and that way I
love
can
it.
fit the frog in.
Nice. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
it's
color it
really
up too?
No, he
You know,
doesn't want to.
I think what I'm gonna do is I want to have it raining blood, where it's like splashing off his face and splashing off the snake. And the only way to really make that read as blood, I think, is to color it. So I'm just gonna do like a Frank Miller thing, where only the blood is red.
Nice.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Nice.
And you know what? And it's cool. This drawing is great because you even said yourself this drawing has really made you kind of just remember.
I can show it.
You should show it. You should show
Oh.
it.
It's not done.
Yeah.
We know it's not done, Kelly. We know it's not done.
Share it.
But yeah, it's.
And
I
then
mean,
Manny's got some great fan art too that I would love to see as well. So it's great.
Yeah,
show
there's been a lot of talk with the whole Steamboat Willie thing
yeah.
recently, and it reminded me that I of a piece that I did just to show my age. I think it was 2015. I want to say, so almost 10 years ago now, which is insane. But yeah, this other thing I'll pull up when we're. Whoa, that's trippy.
All right, here's my
Oh
Spawn.
man, it's so beautiful, and like,
Spawn.
Nice.
like it's really beautiful.
I dig
It's so pretty.
So yeah, I wanted to have you know, I always like doing hamburger head Spawn the most, where he's got, you know, I want to add kind of more detail where the shadow hits the left side of his face. But yeah, and then down here I don't have the scales drawn on yet.
solid line work though. Solid line work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I try to think about thicker lines in the foreground and all that kind of stuff, more detail in the foreground, and then you can see here in the background it really added like.
That's my favorite. It's
like,
beautiful.
Yeah, you let yourself noodle, but it's the background, so you're good. And you put just enough detail in the hamburger face to make it really feel like sell the meatiness of the whole thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want the black and white, kind of the dynamic black and whites, to wash out too much. So it's kind of a balance as to how much detail you want to add, and otherwise.
But you spotted your blacks. You did your job. You spotted your blacks. He stands out. I apologize. I talk like an art teacher, by the way.
No,
so
please.
Like.
So does Kelly.
I get into it with some people, and people are like, "Why do I feel like I'm 12 years old standing in front of my teacher?" Like, don't worry about it. I do this to everybody. But yeah, dude, this rocks. And you framed the snake so that he stands out with all the blacks behind him, so he pops out.
Yeah,
which is real nice.
It's really good design element with the blacks and the white, which is not easy to do. Like when you just have that's only black and white to work with. And Kelly didn't want to do any of the gray kind of color scheme. He wanted to do all the hashing, which is a lot of work, and it looks really good. It really helps where the eye should be directed towards.
I've never been able to ink in Photoshop. I hate it every time I've tried it. I ink in Illustrator. I can't bring myself to ink in Photoshop. A lot of my friends do it really solidly and really well, and it's just never. I've copied their settings, and I'm still like, I hate this. I don't. I sketch in Photoshop at most, and then do all the inking in Illustrator.
Yeah, I guess I remember, you know, first I was teaching myself to draw, just reading like how to draw comics the Marvel way and get anatomy books and all that stuff before like art classes when I was really young and stuff. Yes. Oh my God. I've read that book till the covers fell off. And now I watch it on YouTube because they have the old like 70s video.
Yeah, with I think it's John Buscema.
Yep, Buscema.
Yeah.
But that book, like, honestly, that is probably the most valuable book I've read when it
That
turns
book is-
out like what I did.
That book is crazy good.
Yeah, it's so
That
good.
book is crazy good.
And guys,
other
can you just say
one-
the title so people know which book you're talking about.
It's called
I know
How
you showed
to
it
Draw
for. I know you
Comics.
showed it for a second, but just so people know, it's a great book. It's
Yeah, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. My uncle gave me his copy when I was a kid, and I mean, I literally read it till it fell apart.
Yeah, this book is still great. I don't care. If this book is still great. The one that I tell my kids to get, just because I think it helps them a little bit, and it's really good with sort of creative thinking, because it's not a 1, 2, 3, and you've got this one singular character. Is Ben Caldwell did the book. It's there's 2 of them. There's action cartooning and fantasy cartooning by Ben Caldwell. Very stylized, but not specifically anime, not specifically American cartooning. Just very much an exercise in creativity. I love those books.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I have one of those.
You might have. Ben did a series called Dare Detectives with Dark Horse, and then he did these.
I love Dark Horse.
There's another one.
Oh, that's cool. What? That's a great one. Kelly, I'm just gonna be careful when I come over.
I mean, this is the genius of sequential art, right? Will Eisner.
Yeah.
This is who the Eisner Award is named after. Look at that.
But see, this is just so great, guys, because this really does connect the whole like fan art, right? It just kind of shows, and Kelly.
Oh, there we go. That's fantastic. Look at that. It's the same one. That's so
You
good.
guys are twins. That's hilarious. That is so.
Mine are actually signed.
No way.
Wow. Dang. Hold on. Let me see if mine is.
No, he came. He
Still
lives. No. He lived. Long dead. Lived in Florida, in South Florida. So he would come to the Miami Book Fair, and he would do talks.
Oh, how fun! What?
And he was an amazing speaker, man. He was an amazing speaker.
Huh.
And he's actually, and I had all the books and took all of the courses and did all of the shit. And in 10 minutes, he was like, this is how I do it. And I was like, you could do it like this?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, just, he was like, I take a ream of typing paper. The first page is a bulleted list of what I want the story to be. And then he would take a binder and literally draw the comic real size as a thumbnail.
Wow.
And then he would blow it up, and then he would draw the thing, and that was it.
Wow.
And I was like, that's it?
That's so weird, because it's almost like reverse process, as opposed to drawing big and shooting it down.
Yeah. He would draw it real size and just do a rough, and then he would lightbox it to the final. And brother, when I tell you that I came home like, okay, I guess this is how I'm going to do this. And I did, my wife and I did a bunch of comics actually early on, and we did a bunch of it that way.
Yeah.
It just made absolute
sense.
sense.
That's so cool. But you know what? Here's my question for both you guys. You guys are both artists that have been in the industry for a little bit now, in comparison to, to my amateur ass, right? So here's a great question. Do you guys think, how do I word this so it makes sense? Okay, here's a better way to say it. If you guys didn't have those inspirations, what would your art look like?
Oh man, if I didn't have those inspirations, probably would have done more like fine art kind of stuff, I guess, or something.
That's how
Giacometti
right?
or something like that.
I pulled from a lot of people. So I guess part of the reason that I never really popped is that I was more interested in doing style experiments for like a long time. So sometimes my work would look a little Sam Keith, and sometimes my work would look a little like simpler and cartoonier, and sometimes it would look a little this or that or the other thing. So I pulled from a lot of different sources. Like,
and that's kind of, it goes all back to the fan art and why like fan art is important, right? It is an important thing because like it's what Kelly always says, like if you're a good artist, you steal, right? You know how to steal. How do you say it, Kelly? I'm ruining the quote. Kelly, say the quote.
Picasso said, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal."
Yeah. I did a lot of style experiment stuff. I did a lot of here. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, I would say it was the same for me too. Just like I would get into different artists, and that would become kind of my focus, and I'd be picking up little techniques or little things.
Oh, those are good. I like those. Those are fun. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did a lot of style experiments and stuff. This was the most me, just because of all the like the little lines and stuff.
That was really fun.
This was very me.
Oh yeah, that's fun. So I like that one.
I on when I was doing comic conventions, I did a lot of this sort of stuff because I figured out I'm not a big chibi fan, but I figured out, hey, if people are buying a bunch of your Harley pieces, if you put all of the Harley Quinns on one thing, maybe somebody will buy it. You know, so I did this.
It's really cute. It's super cute.
You know,
it is. I love the colors too.
Thanks. It was fun. You know, experimenting with different styles and figuring out different things. I think this went over a bunch of people's heads, or people just there wasn't as much crossover as I was hoping for.
I thought it was fun. I liked it.
If you remember the Steamboat Willie thing that everybody's talking about now, this was in 2015 when they first announced that there was going to be a Punisher. I got the idea to do this as a T-shirt, and I made this and I put this out, and a few people dug it. You know, I have a few people that were begging me recently to put this out, like, "Hey, Steamboat Willie's, you know, public domain. You can put this out." I was like, I don't know.
It's pretty fun though. It is a really fun design. That's a fun one too.
Yeah,
that's super fun. Great crossover. Like that's a great two universes that people love, and they actually do look like them, so it's really appropriate. Like the colored hairs and stuff and everything. So
it was fun stuff. Like I said, I enjoyed doing the style experiment stuff, but and I can't complain because I actually got a few gigs from fan art. I had done a piece with Robin and Hit Girl, like in a diner setting, and a gig came up where they wanted sort of a 50s diner look for an illustrated, a really illustrated thing for a food truck. So one of the pieces that I sent them was that piece, and it got me like legit work.
Oh wow!
So you know, it's not that it's not that it didn't help, but yeah, I see a lot of people now like doing these giant gallery paintings of like Spawn and stuff, or not Spawn, sorry, The Simpsons.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know how that works. How do you?
I think so. I think when they're in galleries, they do get the licenses, and I think that's kind of like the big like, oh well, if you're in an art gallery, that's when Disney's like, well, and now it's a gallery piece, so like it's like we want the art in galleries, right? That's a big deal. So I think there has to be some, but I also know that, you know, being inspired is a huge difference, right? And some of these artists, like they'll really make it where it's heavily inspired, but it isn't the same character necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that this really nice kaiju Homer. Have you seen this?
I think I've seen it. Mm-hmm.
that somebody did recently, and I thought it was again, it's gorgeous work. It's gorgeous work, but I don't know. I don't think it's. I think what I ended up doing. I think what I ended up doing was a little bit different. So hold on. I'm gonna reach back.
Okay.
Dropping stuff. So I've always been a big Mega Man fan, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Who doesn't love
You
Mega
know,
Man?
I love an arm cannon. I'm stupid for an arm cannon.
Yes.
And there's elements of it that I've always loved. Like I'm an idiot for these proportions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't love a chibi with the head and the body being the same size necessarily,
Yeah.
but this like head and a half sort of thing where you get enough room for action. I like
Absolutely.
a lot.
More caricature than
It's like an in-between. It's a weird in-between between Shubi and full scale. Like, it's just that weirdo in-between.
Yeah. I tell my students, like, okay, so what's your story? If it's very sort of drama based that we're only seeing expressions, you can get away with something chibi. But the more action that's in there, like you need more of a body. So the thing that How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way tells us is that, like, I think the Marvel heroes are like 8 heads tall or something like that.
Yep.
So very heavily body action influenced with, and if they want an expression, they'll pull into the face. But the same way that my love of Mega Man essentially like inspired, my little TV guy.
Oh, that's great.
Which we love the TV. Yeah, he's really, really cool. I love
That
this
is
TV guy.
great.
It's gonna be. I think he's gonna go places, and I can't wait to see where. Like, the more he gets developed, the better he's gonna get. So I'm really excited for him. Like, and to paint him is so easy. Like, very easy way, because the shaping and everything with it. It's a very easy customized toy right there.
Well, and the way that my buddy actually did it, I think he kept it really simple. So this one even, essentially comes apart, and he makes for even easier painting.
Clanible's on here. What's up, Clanable?
Hi, Clanable.
Hello.
No, that's well, yeah. That makes it so much easier. And it's funny. Right now, I'm making a sculpt right now, and Kelly's telling me to make the head. It's for a Temps for Maids toy that I'm making for him. I'm so excited. But I'm making like his robot head, like a starfish eating his robot head, and I'm gonna make the head be able to come out. And the only thing I'm worried about is like the scaling when I put it in the printer. Like, how is it like gonna fit correctly? How am I gonna know it's gonna fit correctly? And I'm sure like there's a way, and I just gotta look it up and stuff to figure out.
That's always been a sort of a thing. I've talked to a couple of printer friends about it. Like, yeah, if we separate it out into different files, can we trust that it'll be brought in at the right? That it'll be all brought in at the same scale so that we can scale them all together? Or is there I guess it depends on the software.
Makes sense. It makes sense. And like the other thing is like the software doesn't know like those two things are supposed to go together either. So it's like, I think the best way to do it is measuring it in the software, which is what I'm hoping I can do. And then measuring both those items while it's in Slicer software. So I'm hoping that's like going to be the solution. And I'll just be able to measure both of them in there, or I'm just gonna have to print the head a couple times until we figure which one is the right size.
Yeah, if not, you're gonna end up sanding that sucker, and that's always a pain in the butt.
You know what though? I don't mind doing that because I'm so stubborn. I'm just like when it comes to sanding, I will sit there and sand it for hours until it fits. Like, no, I already printed it. No, it's already a perfect print. No, it's gonna fit. It's going right there. That's where it's going.
So for Christmas, my wife popped out and picked up this little baby here.
Ooh, that's nice. I had one of those. I need to get another one.
It's a killer little Dremel set. It was at Aldi's of all things, and it has like a ton of little bits and pieces and stuff.
So great when you're designing toys. It really.
I need a good mask and a sort of a place to do that, but in my tiny apartment. But
People think like printing is the most toxic part, but really it's it's the sanding. And
it's all of it. It's why this motherfucker's gonna stay gray as long as I can let him stay gray, because
you have to have the mask. You have to, like, it's like you will get sick. You feel like crap.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you and I have talked about this a bunch. Like, I have no interest in painting my shit.
In producing.
I'm gonna be selling kits for a little bit until I can get something factory made, because I don't think I have no interest in sitting in.
And it's a hard thing to get something factory made, like getting the connections into manufacturing. That's something that Kelly kind of specialized when he was working at Mattel as well, was making those connections with factories. So Kelly's really fortunate with his connections that he has with factories. And now he's going to be having a really fantastic connection with Gentle Giant. And for people who don't know who Gentle Giant is, this is a big time company that now kind of wants to work with more smaller companies because the original owner's with them now. And the coolest thing is they want to mass produce Kelly's car. Now, why that's really cool for anyone who doesn't really understand is that he was manufacturing it for a different price point, and now that price point is going to be lower, which means now that we can now make the pre-order price less so we can get the car produced faster. So in the long term of it, the car will get produced faster because Kelly made such a wonderful car, and Gentle Giant, Kelly and Eddie made such a wonderful car, and Gentle Giant saw it. And now they have offered to help manufacture. Kelly, how do you feel about that? That was such a crazy meeting.
It's amazing. Slight correction. We're not going to lower the price of the pre-sale, but what we're going for is a lower tooling cost so that we don't need as many pre-orders to
That's what I thought I said.
No, that's fine. It's just want to be clear for people, because I will get messages and stuff if I don't say exactly
what do you mean the price is less than what I paid now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Phone calls you don't want.
It was absolutely amazing. Really, really nice guys. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the kind of the atmosphere at Mattel, only kind of more intimate, smaller. But we walk in and there's life-size Stormtrooper statues. There was a life-size Jabba the Hutt in one of the rooms we were allowed to take pictures in. And it was incredible. I mean, it was really, I wish Eddie was here. I sent them over a message if they wanted to pop in, but I didn't know we were doing like exactly this today, but that's fine. But yeah, it was like Shark Tank. It was a real pitch. And they asked us
we'll talk more about it with Eddie, of course, too. But just to give a little recap about it, it was really, really amazing, exciting thing, huh? Like, to be so close with the owners and experience that, and it's like getting manufactured is a big goal as a toy designer. So, it's all about really being determined, just like how you're being determined right now, Manny, with this design. I love that design, and I love how determined you are with it. And you brought it to Designer Con. And this is like your first year into toys. I mean, that's a big deal. Like, I've been into toys now for 2 years, and not one toy I even have produced that's mine yet because I'm so picky. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's like the second thing I have at Designer Con in general. Last year, I had one of my hat designs, hat and pin design that I had done for another company, and then this year we had the slightly bigger version of my little horn hat guy, this little guy.
So cute.
So that was fun. I'm gonna take what's left of those, and I'll be priming them when they get here tomorrow. I'll be priming those, and I'm not gonna be really doing any sales per se, but what I'm working on is a system where I can take the stickers that I'm working on. So I'm going to be doing these like little sticker packs, and essentially on the back there's going to be a QR code. If you buy a sticker pack, visit the QR code, and that's your chance to possibly win one of my little APs. So not anything this articulated, say, but like I want to be doing from here till Decon little AP tests and little things to see. Hold on, let me it'll be something more like this. So about this big.
Oh yeah, the Christmas tree. I love the Christmas tree.
Look,
Yeah,
like little
you did that
little
Yeah.
AP tests essentially that we're at most we're going to prime, but yeah, that's generally going to be what
What
and
what 3D modeling software do you use?
Nomad.
Okay.
Same one I use, Kelly.
Yeah.
I am a caveman and have spent the last 20 years, literally, actually freaking 20 years, trying to figure out 3D software, and none of it's worked. I've tried Blender. They're all awesome, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about Nomad is it is just sculpting software.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how.
And you
how
can use
bad
it on your phone and the iPad, which makes it very convenient to use.
Yeah, it's very convenient to use. Like I remember I was deep into learning Blender, and I deleted the camera.
Oh,
and then I was lost.
Oh wow!
Because why does sculpting software need a camera? Animation software needs a camera.
Yeah.
I get animation software. I get all the rest of it, but sculpting software should just be sculpting software.
I know, like in Rhino and stuff, you can put cameras on curves so that you can animate it, and a lot of it is for like product shots, and
yeah,
some is for architectural stuff where you can like move through the 3D rendering of the building and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to sculpt, and it seems like you could export that into something else and do that there anyways. But
yeah, and Nomad also doesn't seem to have a floor, which is nice because I would put stuff through the floor. Mm-hmm. Like I would apparently like not lift stuff up enough, and I would end up literally underneath the floor. And I'm like, no, just put it up on where it's supposed to be so that I can finish with the. And I couldn't get things to meet. It was a whole mess. And
technology struggles with technology. I mean, it's so funny because like when I'm struggling with technology, it's like the worst cuss words that come out of my mouth. I mean, it's like I just really. Like right now, I'm trying to upload a video that's it's been 3 days, and like I've learned the mistakes of.
You're almost on day 4 of that video.
I don't even want to talk about it. I cried once. I can openly admit I cried once about this stupid video, and Daniel, I love that video. It's only stupid because it's cursed. It's a cursed video. Like I'm talking, Manny is also convinced it's cursed.
Well, I think that last thing we came up with, I think that's gonna work.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
that's gonna work. Like putting the exported video back into your editing software and like chopping it up and then re-exporting that, maybe.
That's what I'm hoping to. I'm hoping that's gonna be the solution to the problem.
Dude, anything, just so that it doesn't, because there's no way that thing's supposed to take like 3 days.
But really, I mean, let's go back to the topic about, fan art. And you're talking about, it is a profitable thing. And, it's also great for the algorithm. Like, that's another thing that we should really talk about is marketing-wise. Fan art's really important because, as far as, like, we all know, like, when you're making an original piece, it's very hard to advertise that where the algorithm's going to pick it up and be like, yes, this should be a hit. So a great way to get viewers on your page is like me and Kelly were just talking about. I was telling him like, hey, you should do the Spawn thing because you love Spawn. He's one of your biggest inspirations. But it's also a great way to have people see something draw other than your other characters of Odd Frog. It's something different, something new. It's fresh viewers, it's a different hashtag. So it's something that's a really great way to use to your advantage when it comes to the algorithm. Like if there's a new movie coming out, like you should probably draw that character. Like it's gonna bring new eyes to the page. It is a great way to kind of beat the system a little bit every once in a while.
I need to do some Godzilla fan art before that movie comes out.
Yeah.
For that thing.
Yeah. Like that's perfect timing because the algorithm knows the algorithm knows everything. The algorithm knows everything.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed recently is the prevalence of sort of negative talk as far as getting people to watch your videos and getting people to watch your reels. That's there's a lot of
expression. I think expression is a better way to, like, intense, exaggerated expression is a great way. Like,
well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, literally posing the question in a negative way apparently gets people to watch your video.
I've seen that. I've seen that. Like,
controversy.
Is this the end of blah 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 or whatever, or is this crap or something like that? You know, and
Or
then
like,
you get into it, and they're like, "No, it's absolutely great," but
don't say top 10 tips to help you. Whatever. Say stop doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even that is something is a big one. I was trading back and forth with a buddy of mine on this sort of stuff because I've got to do some videos this year.
And unfortunately, this is all called clickbait, and you know we're all against it. But unfortunately, because of the algorithm, it's like now built into the algorithm. Like, you have to have a clickbait element towards your page, or people will not watch it. So there's a classy way to do it, right? There's an unclassy way where you're like, I hate people that do like, oh, I hate Apple. And then they're talking, and they're not talking about Apple at all. It's nothing to do with it. They just said
that's for sure a mess. But like, I've seen a lot of really smart creators
classy
be
one,
like
classy clickbait is what I call it.
Well, here's the problem though. Don't overthink it. If you're trying really hard to outsmart it, it's gonna go over their heads, and it's not gonna give you. Just don't lower yourself, but find something, because if you don't like lean into this thing, it's gonna pass you by. You're not gonna get any traffic. I'd rather like I don't want to be sleazy about it either.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people recently I've seen this one creator who does, I want to say, autism awareness.
Yeah.
Stuff is mainly what her page is about, but her cover photos are like her model photos, and then you're suddenly in this somebody said that I was faking it thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are we doing? What's happening? What's going on now? And yeah, that's don't lean into that.
I've seen that trend as well. Like, I see trends people are just doing pictures, and it's like pictures that have zero context to what the actual video is, and it's like,
we were talking about this, yeah.
I was like,
yeah, that's a mess. I don't like that.
That's gross clickbait, you know. And like, there is a classy clickbait.
Yeah, there's a tendency, like, all the information is in the caption. What pisses me off, and again, this is me being old, if all your information is in the caption, fix the picture so that I can read the caption.
Yeah, honestly.
If it's all bright images and I can't see it, I guess I can't read it.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Like, yeah, and that's a graphic design thing. You know, you have to be aware of your, again, background, middle grounds, and foregrounds. You got to have the colors all work together so that it is readable. I mean, in design, if something looks like a mistake, it is a mistake. You know, so you really want to kind of be paying attention to all those things. What else are you doing if you're creating it besides paying attention to how it reads?
And that's why, like, you know, like doing fan art, I think that's just a great way to do a classy clickbait. Like, hey, come check my page out. Here's something I know you probably like to see, but also come check out my other stuff. It's original items.
Yeah, as a company, I always try to be really, really hyper aware and careful about any kind of licensed stuff that we kind of share. You know what I mean? I don't do toy photography necessarily on our stuff unless it's got our car in it, you know?
Yeah.
Because you have to be careful as a company.
Yeah.
You don't want to get sued.
Well, you want to feature your product. Well, this comes back to this stuff that Gabby and I have been talking about back and forth a lot. you're in an interesting spot.
Mhm.
So, an art marketing seminar that I participated in recently was saying, don't do art tutorial stuff and the time lapse stuff,
Mhm.
because you're going to attract artists when you want to attract customers,
Right.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But your customers, your buyers,
Yeah. Our artists.
are
and-
artists.
Yeah.
It's one of the few times where if you were to do like a camera tutorial on your page,
Mhm.
your buyers would actually benefit from it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because they
and
want
I mean-
the easiest ways to customize the car.
Yeah.
As we were designing the cars for customizers, it kind of occurred to us like, you know, and this is really Eddie's thing again, back to the beginning, is that let's give them matte black. We like at Mattel, they want everything to be shiny because that's what sells, that's what moms buy, you know. But this is such a different you know, marketplace essentially, or I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now, but you know,
You're in a different realm.
yeah, and so the whole thing became let's give them a blank canvas, and then that led to the kits, which would also further allow them to make the car their own and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. It's you're in a rare spot, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why we coined the term action vehicles too, you know, because Hasbro coined the term action figure.
Yeah.
But with a car like this, where you can do so much with it, the doors, everything operates, lights, dashboard lights. It's like, yeah, it's an action vehicle, you know? So
Nice.
just trying to like really burn that into the brand.
But I think designer toys is really becoming that as well. Like people who are collecting it are becoming toy artists, right? So like that's becoming a thing. So I think that's kind of like a big part of it too, right? Like now people really want to be part of the designer toy scene, and they want to also customize it. So now people want, like, I like to buy blanks and I like to buy customs, and you know, it's like I like to have both.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. Like I see a designer toy scene slowly turning into that, and designer toy, you know, and designer toys are in art galleries, right? So it's like there is a market as a sculptor to make sculptures for designer toys or toys in general. But the downside to it is you will not make nearly as much as the customizer. That's why these collectors who are also builders, who are also customizers, really can make a lot of money with the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and I stand by the idea of that. Of a spawn, of a custom spawn.
I like that because that logo would look so cool.
I never thought of it.
You do the chest. You do that chest
M
logo on his on the front on the hood, and
add
do some chains, dude. Rear view or side view mirrors as the skulls, as the cape skulls.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And then hang the chains from that to the back.
And
that's rad.
You know,
and do the incorporate the spikes like on the rear wheel top, on the rear top, like
metal it out.
Yeah.
And
that would be sweet.
Wants to metal it
you
out.
could make the lights like green, you know, like his eye power or his powers.
That would be
or hell, dude, if you could do like a translucent green for even the front windshield.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because this thing doesn't have to be drivable. Like, who gives a shit?
No,
like,
yeah.
No, that's a really cool idea. You know, that's like the whole point. You know, that's why, like, you know, fan art is super important. It helps you grow. It reminds you where your inspiration comes from too, especially if you're doing stuff like what Kelly's doing here. So I think,
dude, that would legitimately drive people to your page. That would drive Todd to your page.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm hoping Todd comes to our page when I put my cover out there. That'd be the biggest win for me.
That would be, but I'll tell a bunch of I tell a bunch of folks, like, do you?
Yeah.
Yep. And Kelly is a big advocate about that as well. He's such a big advocate about
Yeah,
it.
Like I've seen a bunch of people do a bunch of really good spawn stuff, and I'm like, great. You know how many of those are out there?
Yeah.
How many of you are out there? Like,
Yep. Yes.
We've got
You
some
know.
viewers. Should I show it
That's what me
again?
and Kelly were talking about.
show it again, dude. It's a killer cover.
Thank you.
It's a killer piece.
It really does represent Kelly, and he's so inspired by McFarlane. I was telling him, like, you can tell how inspired you are, but you don't copy his style. You're so heavily inspired, but it's still so original.
Well,
Yeah,
with the detail and stuff, I just like I try to think like that, where it's like you think it's detailed enough, and then it's like, no, you got to keep pushing the detail, keep pushing the detail. I'm gonna put clouds back in here, not overwhelmingly so, because I want to keep the drama down here. But I figure also the logo is gonna go up here.
What's the where is he? Like
He's
what do you see out behind the?
So this is going to continue to just be rolling hills of frogs and snakes. So it'll just be a little bit of a lighter, similar thing to what I'm doing here, but a lighter value as I move into the background. And then same thing with the clouds it'll be lighter back here, as you know, and then I'll darken it up as it comes up into here as it gets closer to the eye.
Nice.
And that should give a nice kind of negative space right through this part of it here.
My favorite frog is the frog on his hand. And, I love how eerie his teeth are. Like, his teeth are super eerie, and they look so human. Like, the actual gapping in between them and stuff like that. They don't look like, just superficial looking. This is a perfect human's teeth. Like, it's very eerie.
Yeah, Spawn's always seemed to me like he had screwed up teeth, so... Or at least the cooler shots of him. He's pretty banged up.
No, for sure. I dig it, man.
Thank you very much, Manny. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I appreciate you coming on, and sharing your stories with fan art, and how fan art has made you grow. Like, like even getting gigs through your fan art. Like, it's an important thing. And, your stickers that you're coming out with, I'm really looking forward to. I don't want to share too much about it, but you have those stickers are going to be really, really cool. And, like, I'm old school. Like, I love still sticking stickers on my water bottle, like on my thermals. Like, I don't care. Thermals. The water. That water jug thing. I can't speak right now. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know.
But I also love sticking on my laptops too. Like, those are my two places for stickers. And I kind of want to get a sticker collector book, because I do love having just little trinkets like that. I'm a female. Anything small I like to have. And I also like to use my stickers for my toys when I'm oh yeah, look at those. They're so great, Manny.
Thank you. Yeah, they're turning out cool. They're turning out cute.
Buzz would love this. Gabriella.
Buzz would love these.
Yeah, these are turning out. I'm having fun.
Those look so cool. Those are so rad. There's so much more expression. They look so much. They're way more you. Like, now I can see you in them.
Yeah, I think I'm having fun, and I'm working on the sculpted the sculpt of the space sloth. So that'll be part of the whole thing. Hopefully, I can make it out. Hopefully, I can get a table at DCon this year.
Yeah.
With the pins and the stickers and the stuff.
DesignerCon, and he felt the same way. Like, DesignerCon's awesome. Like, it's a really happy place, and like, it's possible. Like, especially you make some connections. Like, make connections, people. Like, if you don't have friends in California, make some friends in California.
Oh, for sure.
I had friends like when I was in California. I had an artist I met for the first time come stay with me. It was Bean. We're still really good friends.
Nice.
But it's. For DesignerCon, it's not easy to go there if you're out of state and you're all the way in Florida, right? Like, I know I have family in Florida. I'm from Florida. I know how much that ticket costs. Like,
yeah, the plane ticket's expensive, and the other thing I'm really not looking forward to is having to ship my stuff.
So, but shipping it is the best way. I've heard like, your suitcase, it's a nightmare, and it's even worse.
Yeah, no, I have a friend in Las Vegas, and I'll be doing my best to tap dance and talk him into letting me ship my stuff to his house, so that I can get it to the convention center. Because on top of everything else, like, even if you're staying at a hotel, they charge you an arm and a leg if you want to ship stuff to the hotel. So
oh shit, because in Vegas,
I
forgot that.
Did it go down the wrong pipe?
That's the best pipe. That is the best pipe for it to go down. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
But
Appropriate. I'm on YouTube.
But yeah, like I'm not looking forward to shipping my stuff out, but I'll do what I'm doing everything I can, including like trying to get my health stuff in order so that I can get out there and be.
Well, you let us know how we can help. You know, it's all of us. Like maybe we'll all get a hotel room together so we can share it. I do have for my club days some hotel connections like that. So you know,
Nice.
I got some promoters for my club days that we can hit up. But you know, it's all about.
I got to figure out where this thing is going to be because they haven't even announced that. I think I know it's going to be in Vegas, but I don't know if
that's what I know. That's all I think. That's all anyone knows about it right now. They just know it's going to be in Vegas, but they just don't know anything else.
Somebody said that they usually don't even announce tickets or table sales until like 2 or 3 months out, or two months before the show, or something like that.
Maybe it's just to make sure people are serious. Like maybe it's like if you do it too soon, like people buy it and bail out.
I guess. I don't know anybody like. Yeah, that's crazy. But as long as I can set up a timer or something so that I don't miss out, because you know, of my friends who've done Comic-Con are always like, yeah, it's like we know 3 months in advance, and it's a whole thing, and if you're not on there, like click, you're not going to get tickets, and you're not going to get.
I don't think you'll have that issue with DesignerCon. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't.
No, I don't think. I don't think you are. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, which makes absolutely no sense because everything I've been told about this thing is that this is designer toy mecca, and it's like really it should be a more popular. It should be a more popular show than it is, but I guess it's not.
It's just recession. You have to realize, like, you know, collecting art toys. What is art? It's a luxury. And what's the first thing you cut when you're struggling is luxuries.
Yeah.
So you have to keep pushing strong, and you got to make these toys like, you know, toys with purpose or toys that connect to something. That's why I'm a really big advocate. And Kelly thinks I'm nuts, but like I want to have toys with certain like not charities, non-profitable organizations that do good things.
Well, I mean, you know, there's definitely venues for that. And I think my limited experience with a bunch of that stuff is that especially like the younger people get really on you if you take too big of a chunk of any of that stuff.
That's where it gets so messy, you know. It's like that's where it's messy, and it's like, how do you? Because like big companies do. It's like, hey, this is gonna be a $60 purchase, and then you put like 15% of this is going towards a profitable, like going to a cause that's gonna help these things.
Yeah.
That's why you can't use nonprofit. So like nonprofit, like you can't do that with nonprofit. It has to 100% go all to the nonprofit if you're doing anything for that nonprofit. But if you do it for a profit organization that does good things, like they're for profit, then you can set up then you can do something like that. It's not illegal.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
it's hard. It's so. I think it's down, but I do get it because then they wouldn't be nonprofit anymore. Because then there would be something sold in their name. So I get the legalities behind it.
Yeah, it's all messy. Like I want to do something with this little guy because I know it's impossible to see on camera, but he's got little leg braces. Which is actually like tied to what I went through as a kid. So I gave him these little actual like leg braces on and stuff.
That's cool.
So part of like what I talk about with him, because so to bring it back to fan art.
Yeah.
Fan art works because people already know the story.
That is true.
So you don't have to work as hard to tell that narrative.
Yeah.
When you don't use fan art, you have to give the narrative.
Yeah, and you got to get people to want to listen too with their instant gratification, which is so little.
Yeah, which is tougher.
Yeah.
But you know, I figure part of the narrative of this little guy is the leg braces, and I talk a lot about sort of his stompy feet, because when I was a kid and the times that I've worn leg braces in my life, it was always really fun to like hit my heel against the floor because the leg brace like shakes, but it makes this really cool like bang clank, bang clank, bang clank. You know.
Sure,
So-
a little kid wearing leg braces, which guys, he says this very nonchalantly. Like he's talking about leg braces. Like I want to understand what that is. Like leg braces, as in like you can't walk very well, and they're helping you walk. Okay.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what
and it was that 80s shit. So it was like metal on metal with like a little hinge in there.
I remember them, yeah.
Like
Jeez.
leather straps and shit. Like that
Like
was
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, like Forrest
Yeah.
Gump, yeah, literally like
well,
Forrest Gump.
what's funny is, so I was, and then later on in life, I was hit by a car in like 2006, and the lower leg brace that I ended up wearing was not very different from the thing I had in 1986, and I was like,
Wow.
nothing's changed. What are we talking about?
That's upsetting.
It's a little messed up. It's a little
That's
messed
upsetting.
up.
I understand that. There's just been a peak of technology for diabetes, and it's funny because then like when you have different insurances, you see that with technology a lot more than when you have poor insurance. Like, oh wow, this exists. Oh, this exists for a while. I'm like, oh, that's so crazy because when I had different insurance, I never saw any of this ever.
Yeah. You know, but
I understand that, but I love that you are connected. It's connected to you, dude. And that's what designer toys are. This is an art, okay? And the whole way to make a toy into an art is really having it connect to you. I want to know about my artist, right? And how much more can you know about an artist when you really put something that personal towards it? And I want to do a toy towards my diabetes, so I really relate to that. You know, like wanting to really emphasize that not everyone in the world is perfectly healthy. Kelly's perfectly healthy, so I like to make fun of him for that. But like, you know, not everyone in the world is perfectly healthy, you know. It's like, and like our society really wants us to believe that, so that way we all don't think about the fairness of everything. But like, it's not like that. There's a lot of people who are sick. I'm sick. You're sick. Sorry, Kelly, you don't get to be part of that club.
It's not a great club to be a part of.
No, it's really not. It's really
like I'd rather not be sick. I'd definitely rather not be in pain. But you know, we've got our crosses.
I always say though, it had to be me because there's no one tough enough to deal with it the way that I'm dealing with it. That's what I always have to tell myself.
You know, that's a big part of it. But
it had to be me, or else if someone else had it, like I think they'd be crying like a baby, just
you
put it up on the floor.
I try and put as much stuff of myself into things as possible, but I'm only now getting used to talking about that stuff.
It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to talk about it. Like it's really so personal.
Like I don't love being on camera, but I figured out that I have to be.
Yes, you do. I told you this, and you're doing fantastic. And you're fun to be on camera.
I'm trying.
I
know that I'm not a barrel of laughs. I know that I'm not a barrel of laughs, but
yes, you are. You need to stop.
But I'm doing it. You know.
Let's stop. You're so ridiculous, honestly.
But yeah, like you know, we work. We try.
No, I think it's really good. It's what makes it. That's what makes your art really beautiful. And like I said, like a toy industry is for diseases and stuff like that. Like it is like an industry that people with health conditions really do heal with toys and art. So you know, I think it's the perfect kind of toy to make. And I think it's a really great thing to end on. You know, it's like you always realize like every toy has a story, and fan art is very important because if they didn't have their fan art, they wouldn't have their art today. It's now their original stuff.
Yeah. It's it bad impressions of existing things are how we get really fun ideas out in the world.
Yeah.
You know, that's I'm a big believer in that. If you're going to create a piece based on something else, but it is so far removed from the original, slap a coat of paint on it, change it up a little bit, add a little thing here and there, and you get a new character entirely. Yeah. Which brings us back to Spawn.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, and I've heard people in the designer toy scene, like so many like Disney stuff that I'm like, how do they get away with this? I don't know. There's no way Disney allows this, but they do because heavily inspired.
Well, I mean, I think if Todd McFarlane didn't have the relationship with Marvel that he had at the time, even though he pissed them off, like how he got away with putting a cape on Spider-Man and a cape essentially on zombie Spider-Man and calling it a new character. Like, it's kind of crazy, but he did it,
I know.
and it worked out for him. You know, it was what he wanted to draw.
He truly was a rock star in the comic book world back then. I mean, people
Yeah.
were coming into it just to get his art and stuff. Like, I remember one time we went to the Shrine Auditorium, my uncle and I, specifically to meet Todd McFarlane, and we're there, and there's a line literally out the door and around the block to meet Todd McFarlane. This has got to be like 1990, something like that.
Old
Yeah.
men.
And we're on the street and we're looking at this line and we're like, wow, that's crazy. And the car in front of us slows down and stops in the middle of the street. We're like, what's going on? Todd McFarlane jumps out of that car, runs through the line and into the building so he can start signing. He was right in front of us. It was so cool.
That's
But,
crazy.
I got a
Yeah.
chance to meet a bunch of them at one of the things down here. Back when they were all like signed, they would all sign together.
Yeah.
Did they have the spaceship when you went
No.
to get?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The Rob Liefeld spaceship. That was
Yes.
insane.
Don't get me started on Rob Liefeld. Yeah.
He's
I'm sure there's gonna have to be a part 2 with Manny. You know,
I resigned to the idea that the man is a sweetheart, and that's about it.
He wasn't a sweetheart to me. I thought he was kind of rude when I met him.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But
But Todd was amazing. I waited 5.5 hours in line to meet Todd McFarlane, and I'm like, can I show you some of my art? And he's like, I really can't do that right here because everybody wants signatures. But he goes, if you look in the back of the Spawn books, my address is in there and you can send it there. Like, he took the time to tell me, and then he told me what pins he uses, the Hunt 102 and the Gelati 850. I'll never forget the little pins he uses. But
that's cool.
I mean, he took a few moments there with like thousands of people behind me to tell me about that. And
a handful of those guys were good folks. Larson
Silvestri, sweetheart of a guy.
No shit.
Yeah, he signed like 8 of my things that day. We bumped into him throughout the day, all day long. I ran out of stuff for him to sign, so he signed my Angels hat. And
nice.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool guy.
Larson was like that for me. Like Larson was a huge deal.
Yep.
With his with his like goofy ass way of holding like a. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of it. He like signs like this or some shit. Like
weird.
Really?
He puts his hand all weird and shit. But it works,
Yeah.
I met the writer of Doctor Who at LA.
Cool.
Russell. Was it Russell T Davies that you met?
The original. He was an old man. That's all I remember.
Oh, nice.
He was an old man. Like, it was like the original writer of Doctor Who. And I remember I wasn't the big, I know Doctor Who is, like, I know my culture. I've seen like the first a couple seasons here and there. But my cousin, who was younger than me, she's only like 20, and she watched all of them. I was so impressed with her. I love my cousin. She's awesome. I'm so glad she's not a little Gen Z or she's not afraid to watch older things. And she's like, that's the writer. I'm like, how the hell do you know that's the writer? He was in the crowd. He had no booth. Like, we walked right by him. Like, that's the writer of Doctor Who. And he went like this to her. I just kept going. And like, it was like
cute.
I met John Fogerty. I met John Fogerty like that once.
How did you know what he looked like? Like, how did you know that? It was like,
I met John Fogerty like that once in Seattle. We were down by the pier, and I recognized him. He had a Angels hat too, actually, and big glasses on. And I was way into Creedence Clearwater when I was in high school, and I was like,
nice.
I just kind of walked up to him. I'm like, excuse me, sir. And he was like, I'm like, can I shake your hand? And he just was like gonna keep walking past me, but I said it nice enough and down low enough that he leaned back and smiled and shook my hand and kept walking. It was really cool.
Nice.
Because you weren't obnoxious.
Yeah.
You gotta love a nice interaction like that.
Yeah. And then my other hero I got to meet was Axl Rose on the Santa Monica Promenade. And I had always heard he could be a total asshole.
What year? I'm curious.
This would have been like 96. Yeah, 96.
So he still looked like Axl Rose.
Still looked like Axl. He had a bandana and a hat on backwards with his hair, and he was walking with his kid and some lady. And it was me and my best friend, and I'm like, that's Axl Rose. He's like, no, it's not. And he looks over and he goes, oh, yeah, it is. And so I walk up to him, and I was such a huge fan of Guns N' Roses, and I had always had long hair, but like a week before that, I had shaved it off. So I go up and I shake his hand, and I don't even get starstruck because, you live here in LA, but it's like, I just shaved off all my hair. I'm so sorry. And he's like,
He's
like
apologizing.
that's all right, dude. He's
Why
like,
are you apologizing?
I know.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but he was really nice. He talked to me for like 10 minutes, and I always heard like he could be really sometimes not in a good mood to talk.
Yes,
About, so.
you catch these dudes on the wrong day,
Yeah,
and brother,
yeah.
you get zero.
Yeah.
But I kind of get it though, like because they have to be on 24/7, and sometimes they just want to be off. I can understand that. I can have a little empathy for that, where it's like you have to be on just all the time. Like that's a lot of work.
Yeah, because you don't want to give them not just a bad impression, but you don't want to.
Your brand now, like your brand. So bad.
Oh, that sounds
word
horrible.
Of mouth. Yeah, word
that
of
sounds
mouth
horrible.
I don't want. That's why I don't want to be famous. Like people who want to be famous on Instagram or YouTube and stuff. Like I want to promote a community. That's always my thing. And we're gonna wrap this up because I know we're getting to the hour point. I'm trying not to get too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, community is the biggest thing, right? Like that's why we do this. Like we're doing this for a community. You know, doing it for a new show. You know, Manny's trying to build a community with his brand. We're trying to build a community with our brand. It's all about us working together as artists and heal the world with our art.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you, Manny, for coming on. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. Really nice to meet you too.
For
And,
sure,
like,
dude.
I
Finally got to like touch base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, we'll have you on again, and hopefully, you know, maybe even in the future we can even help you get toys mass produced. Who knows? You know, like you never know what can happen.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we have manufacturing connections. So good ones.
Nice.
Yeah,
really.
So that'd be really fun. So thank you guys for watching us on the Chop Shop podcast, a little taste of Manny and Killa Kawaii crew. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful
Eddie
night.
and Mikey, I didn't know this was going to be an impromptu Chop Shop podcast, so I'm sorry you guys didn't get on, but
you
my
guys,
bad.
you guys were ditched on this one. Sorry.
Not
Johnny,
ditched.
Johnny was to go on too, so you know, but
I just got to him too late.
So I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's
Johnny,
fine.
you didn't get the link. You know, so it's like I don't know what happened there. So we still had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is still so fun. Thank you so much, guys. And this is our first time live on YouTube. It was pretty cool. Okay, we did it.
Nice.
All right, guys. Take care. Good night.